Hello, darling. Welcome or welcome back to Cellulite and Love Tarot. I'm Hillary. I'm so glad to have you here. There's been so many new subscribers over the weekend, so hi, thank you. Thank you for joining me. I'm so glad that my reading spoke to you in some way, and I'm just so looking forward to vibing with you and having you in my collective energy more permanently. I am so thankful and so grateful for you. Here on my longer form readings, today is a Manifestation Monday. So we're going to see what's going on with your manifestations. I was sort of called to do this a little bit differently than I normally do. And I was basically told to shuffle my Wild Unknown Archetypes deck beforehand to sort of get an overall theme for the reading. And a few cards came out, and then a couple cards were on the bottom that stuck out to me. I am going to reshuffle these, but I wanted to talk about this first. I think it's really important as a reader to be transparent with shuffling and stuff. I try not to judge or, view negatively about people who shuffle the cards off camera. You do you. Sometimes it seems like it can almost be like cherry picking. And I don't want to view other readers like that because I think almost every reader on here has very good and pure intentions, okay? But the transparency is just a good relationship to build between, the reader and the viewer. So I'm going to redo it, but I want to talk about this first, especially because I really don't know how this is going to fit into the reading. So, okay. Anyways, as I was shuffling, the Sword and Eros both came out, which was tying together with Friday's reading. Surprisingly, which Friday's reading was a chakra reading about self-empowerment, but the sacral chakra came up repeatedly in that reading, specifically about sacred sexuality and sensuality and getting back into honoring the sacral self, the sexual self, and possibly being on a path of celibacy or just being more picky and choosy with when we want to engage with others and blend energies that way, being more honoring of ourselves in that process, okay? So if that doesn't line up with you, then don't worry about it. Just skim over it. It might not be your reading. If you're finding yourself frustrated with a reading, then it's just not your reading, okay? Or ask yourself why you're triggered, But let's get into it. Okay, so the Sword is all about making a swift, clear decision, okay? Cutting and separating one version of reality from another. It talks about in the book how the sword is present at birth, okay? It's what cuts and separates, infant from the mother with the umbilical cord. So, and we use the sword repeatedly in our life to make new decisions, to make new paths, right? And it's honesty, it's swift decision making. Sometimes people can view these decisions as hasty or a little bit too cutthroat. We'll just say a little bit too cutthroat, okay? But that's really the kindest thing that you can do when you're involving other people in these decisions, is to be open, clear, and honest with what your needs are, with what your decisions are, so that we are not stringing certain people along or whatever. Not that this is about other people, because it doesn't have to be, but this instance is just popping up, so that's why I'm saying it. And what I heard whenever I was thinking about that was, I saw some post that was basically like, if you're dating someone, and this is all about online dating and stuff, if you're dating someone and this person is specifically talking about masculines, but it doesn't have to be a masculine, doesn't want to post you, share pictures with you, then they're sparing someone else's feelings. That was basically the gist of it. And I don't think that that's true for everyone or everything, but I do feel like we do kind of get into this habit of not being very clear, not being very open and honest, just societally, so that we are sparing others' feelings, so that we have other options available, so that we have backup plans. So right now, this is all about being very clear with yourself so that you are not muddying your own energy, okay? Eros is all about desire, sexuality, sensuality, okay? And figuring out the culprit of the desire, what sparks these desires. Are your sensual, erotic desires, really fueled by music and art and, food or whatever? Getting to the heart of the desire here, right? So that we can kind of figure out, okay, I'm just going to pull up the book real quick because I'm having a hard time really articulating what I'm trying to say here. Okay. Unbridled sexuality and eroticism, a more contemplative understanding of this archetypal energy leads us to the root of the desire itself, finding out the root of your desires, right? What do we long for? Why are we awakened by love? What makes us hesitant? What makes us hesitate in the face of intimacy? Eros reconnects us with the primal longing to merge with another human being, nature, music, art, plants, food, or anything that we perceive we are separate from. Eros allows us to momentarily unite. Our heart embraces otherness, and in doing so, we further understand our own. Our life force awakens. This card reveals an inevitable initiation into love's labyrinth. You may find yourself swirling in a new territory of desire and sensuality. Explore the labyrinth with a curious and honest heart. And remember, though the way is oh my gosh, I'm not gonna be able to say that. Circuitous, you are always being led towards its center. Okay. I feel like it's saying like, yeah. Okay, anyways. So, being decisive with the heart of your desire here, okay? Then the prayer and the temple came out, and that is very much spiritual sacredness, okay? The prayer would be like where we're offering our service, for a higher purpose, and the temple is what we hold sacred, sanctuary energy. So I feel like right now the energy with all of this together, okay, would be really deciding what your desire is, why you desire it, what the root is, and then being loyal to that religiously within yourself, not wavering your desires for connection, for love, not what phrase was coming up last week. It was a repeated phrase that kept coming up for me, and it was oh my gosh, what was that? Not compromising. Oh, well, maybe I'm not sure if this feels right with me, this person feels right with me, this situation feels right with me, but maybe I'll offer myself up to it just in case. And then that feels like self-sabotaging when it falls apart, and you're like, why was I intimate in that way? Why did I open up to that? Why did I compromise my standards for that? It's all about holding yourself sacred, holding your desires sacred, and not compromising on them, not lowering your standards, all of this, okay? I'm going to leave that there. I'm not sure how this really ties in with manifesting this week, other than don't compromise on your desires, okay? That's a pretty straightforward message for manifesting, but okay, we'll see. Not compromising on your desires. Let's jump in. Let's see what you're dealing with right now, kind of what's going on around you. Maybe you are contemplating dealing with certain people or certain situations that don't feel quite right for you, but you're contemplating giving it an opportunity. I'm not sure. We'll see. Okay, let's jump in. Spirit, my higher self, my darling's higher self, thank you so much for using me as a channel to guide and instruct. I thank you for using me as a channel. I am messing up my prayer. Wow. Spirit, my higher self, my darling's higher self, thank you so much for using me as a channel to guide and instruct. I ask for the most clear and concise messages, information, feelings, and sensations to flow through me for the betterment of my darling, for the highest good of everyone involved. Thank you so much, Spirit. That was so bizarre. I kind of left my awareness for a second. Okay, let's take some deep breaths. Okay, Spirit, what's going on around my darling's life right now, in their awareness and their reality that has to do with their manifesting and the message that you want to give them today. Let's see. The Dead End, Alethea. These are both very black and white thinking cards, okay? Not a lot of color. The Queen. The Offering, the Kiss. You might be manifesting love. The Shapeshifter. Yeah. Thanatos, the Bridge. Yeah, I feel like right now that you are I'm probably talking to someone who is sort of contemplating compromising some standards or some ideas, which doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, but I feel like this is a cycle that we repeat, okay? I feel like it's a cycle that we repeat. We start to feel like, I don't know if I can actually hold out for someone who's going to meet my standards, or, this thing to go the way that I want it to. I kind of have reservations about it. And in a place of authority, right, that is only saying one way or another that things can happen, 10:10 on the clock, we then are basically not happy with the things that were being offered, okay? With the way that it's showing up, but in some way we're like, maybe it's actually better than whatever I'm thinking, right? And then what happens is that it comes to an end, and it's a very brutal end, okay? It feels very vicious. It feels very, it almost feels like you have to start over on this process again, and then you're like, okay, another dead end, and we do this process over and over and over and over and over again. And I feel like you're like, what's the problem? What is it going to take for me to get from this part of manifesting where it's out of reach, it's separate from me, and everything that manifests in front of me is not my desire, and then I give it a chance and I have high hopes, like I have hopes that it will just improve. What's it going to take me to bridge this mediocre manifestation to what I actually desire here, right? Okay, let's get into it. Let's see. Okay, Spirit, give me some Moonology cards here about this situation before we get into tarot with a Celtic cross. Okay, Darling is wondering, how are things going to bridge? This is where we're at. How are things going to bridge, and what is the energy happening around that, and the energy Darling needs to be aware of or transition from, okay? A time to give rather than take is on the bottom. Okay. The first card that came out that I could see was communication is key. New Moon in Gemini, being an air sign, being a sword. Clear communication. If you're not liking the way certain things are, we need to communicate what we are desiring up front. We are not just communicating with the universe, we're communicating outward. We are stepping into embodying and speaking the version of ourselves who has our desires, who deserves our desires, who knows that we are getting our desires, and we are not settling for less, okay? Now, the way I'm communicating right now is very harsh and to the point, but this is Gemini, the lovers. We are communicating our needs in a way that says, this is what I'm looking for. We can communicate this with love. We can communicate this openly, as with a feeling of I'm sharing intimately with you, what I'm desiring. And this is not just with others, this is with the universe, this is with yourself, speaking love over what you want to yourself as well. And as we do that, right, as we're not as we are not just sort of looking for or seeing a lack of our desire in front of us and then communicating through thoughts and communicating through our energy of, oh, I don't like that. As we're not communicating with our energy negatively at what we see, then things start to transform, okay? A personal issue reaches resolution, full moon in Cancer. Then we have a new romantic cycle begins, new moon in Libra, another air sign. Emotions are running high. Super moon. Luck is on your side. New moon in Sagittarius. Expect powerful change. New moon eclipse. New. Now, the only full moon here, well, I guess there's two full moons, and both of them are emotional. Cancer is a water sign, all about emotions, but the Cancer is a crab. So they're emotional, but they have a very hard shell. So maybe the way you communicate does sound more harsh, does sort of criticize and has a wall up, right? And really we need to soften the shell a little bit with our own energy, with ourself, with our 3D, and just trust that things are coming. And as we do not waver on our desires, and we know that that's coming, and then we can communicate with love, because if you already know that you have something in the bag, then you're not going to be so defensive about it, right? It's as simple as, you have your front door on your house, right? You don't want an intruder to come in, you put the locks on, right? Someone can knock on the door. You can open the door and talk to the person, but do you have to let that person in? No. And do you have to be rude about it? No. You know that your house is safe. You know that you're there. You know that you're protected. So you know that you're good one way or another. So when we're communicating or we're saying, yes, you can come in, no, you can't come in, it's not from a way that's just like, are you going to ransack my house? Like that sort of energy, So it's a personal issue that we have that has these barriers or has this hardness about what we desire, because there's a lack of security that we actually have it, right? Or that it's actually ours. Now, the thing is, with a time to give rather than take, new moon in Virgo here, that's talking about you expecting to get things externally right, to make you feel some type of way inside. And really, it's like you need to pour that energy out first. Now, I'm not saying compromise. No. Like I said, you advocate for what you want. You advocate for your desires to yourself, to the universe, to others. And because you're doing that, then you receive it, right? If you are defensive against connection and you're sort of rude, or you're critical and you're criticizing everything outside of you, you're 3D, you're criticizing other people, and sort of mad that they're not fitting the bill for what you want, then the energy that you're going to get back is more reasons to complain, right? So give love. Oh, I love this aspect about this person or this situation, and they're going to find, someone that matches their bill just perfectly. And, maybe we can be good friends or something. Or that just doesn't work for me. And it's not me being rude. It's just being clear and being honest with ourselves. Like, oh, if this opportunity doesn't fit for me, then that's okay. That just means that, oh, great, I'm making more space for my opportunity, for my manifestation to come into me. Okay. This is all inner dialogue here. Okay. Let's jump in with tarot. Okay. Goodness gracious. Okay, Spirit. There's a lot going on here. So what is the situation at hand with manifesting here and these emotions and this intimacy? Yeah, this is all about you might be hesitant because you just don't think that things work out for you. Like you almost feel like you have to be lucky to land whatever you're trying to get in your life, certain connections, certain love connections. And it's like, if you just believe that that's meant for you, and you know that, it, and you're thankful for it, then that's when powerful change happens, right? Okay, Spirit. Give me a card here for this Celtic cross of our manifestations. Manifestations. What's going on? What's the current situation? Queen of Wands, look at you, literally the most powerful manifester in the tarot to me, besides the Magician. But, she's like the witch of the tarot. So, Queen of Wands. This is you knowing what you're worth and knowing what you can create and feeling essentially, attached to those desires, feeling it first, feeling it and embodying it and knowing it and then receiving it. But it all starts with you, right? You're not timid about what you want, and thus you have people, I'm seeing the 3 of Pentacles on the bottom here. When you embody that energy, you then have people who are like, yes, well, sign me up, I want that, that's attractive. You're calling in the type of energy that you want into your life through your own energy, right? I feel like you are becoming more empowered. I feel like, again, sensuality is so emphasized here. Okay, what is the blockage to this Queen of Wands energy? Queen of Cups. How is that a blockage? Other than emotions, the Emperor there, Aries energy at the bottom. For some of you, this is not everyone's story, and I am going to not try to hold on to this storyline for the majority of this reading. But for some of you, there is a dominant masculine energy that you have a lot of love for, okay? Or you had a lot of love for, who then you feel like controlled your heart, right? Had the control of your heart, okay? And I feel like that has sort of blocked you from feeling empowered or feeling capable in moving forward and finding someone more aligned with you. If this is not someone else, then it can just sort of be like a stubbornness, okay? the Emperor can be kind of controlling, okay? He's not a bad energy at all. It's amazing energy, but he can be very controlling. So if that's just representing yourself, then you are just very controlling about how others make you feel, right? And you can't really control others. And if you have a critical eye for others, then you're only going to see more reasons to be critical, right? That's what I'm kind of getting at, is sort of being emotionally triggered into controlling others, possibly. That's not everyone's story, but you might just feel like your emotions waver so much, where you overgive to other people and then that takes you out of your power, okay? You'll have to get in where you fit in, okay? I know that's a few stories. What happened in the past that affected this? 7 of Cups and the 6 of Wands reversed. Literally, I feel like you were involved with someone. You gave your heart out. You were very dedicated, okay? You showed how much you revered this person, how important they were to you. You built them up, and this person left you feeling like they were not sure where you fit in their life, okay? And you were just like, why am I not good enough? Then everything that you gave to this person, you felt like that was taken out of you and poured everywhere else, right? They left you waiting for a solid, tangible opportunity to build something, emotionally fulfilling here. 3 of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles, the 10 of Cups, and the situation ended, right? The situation ended. This possibly led you to a spiritual transformation of yourself, and so now on your own here, you have been taking time, possibly 9 months, 9 years, to rebuild your stability and who you are. Focus on, how you view yourself. It's taken you a long time to rebuild the confidence and the self-worth after the situation. So I feel like this blockage that you have to feeling empowered is just a fear of the past repeating itself. Yeah, you're like, I had to go through so much to face all of the ways that I didn't feel good enough, that I didn't feel strong enough, that I felt weak, that I felt unworthy. It took so much of my strength, so much of my focus to overcome this, and I'm so worried about that repeating itself, right? King of Wands at the bottom there. Leo energy. Yeah. Okay, this makes a lot of sense, and I get it. This is, 22:22 on the clock. Wow, okay. Okay. What does Darling expect here? What is expected? What are we aware of? What are we expecting from this situation, though? What's this one? The Hanged Man. You're like, I want to see things differently. I don't want to experience things the same way. I've changed enough that I expect to not experience the same thing, but I'm still worried about it, okay? I'm still kind of waiting. Because I don't want to experience what I experienced before. So I'm waiting until things are different, okay? What does Darling not expect from this situation? 4 of Wands. Honey, I feel like you're going to wait forever and you're going to be single and you don't expect to actually come into spiritual union with someone or to find a divine counterpart possibly. This is just take counterparts out of it, okay? Take that situation out of it. But this is getting married, getting engaged, having, that spiritually stable connection, right? Yeah, celebration. You're not expecting that, okay? What's coming up? 3 of Pentacles, 5 of Swords, 10 of Pentacles, 5 of Wands at the bottom, 10 of Wands, 3 of Swords, 2 of Cups, the Tower. Okay, I'm going to read it a couple ways. The most basic way that I can see is that there is possibly someone that you had worked on a relationship with before, where things did not go well. It didn't work out the way it was supposed to with the 3 of Pentacles, 5 of Swords. And so coming up, this person might be coming back around to have a hard conversation. They might have been really working on conflict resolution, and now they're looking at, okay, let's finish this. Like, I've learned what I needed to learn. I know how to communicate now. I don't want to be manipulative. I've worked on this part of myself, and now I realize that I can't be self-serving and build a family system. Like, a family system, long-term stability, long-term relationships is not a one-person thing. It's not focused on one person's happiness. Everyone needs to be worried about everyone's happiness here, okay? So if that's the story, and this is someone from the past, possibly this masculine energy from before, I'm not going to hang on to this story. It's just one story for possibly just one person. I'll get to the other story in a second. But this person, oh gosh, it's like this person is overwhelmed with the amount of chaos that this connection has had in the past. And I think they're overwhelmed because they always knew that you were their person. Okay? And it's almost like this person was putting test after test after test in the way of this connection before to see if you were like the real deal. And it's like when things finally ended, they had like a harsh reality check about their own motives with the Seven of Swords and judgment. Yeah, it's like they've had a realization that like you weren't actually the sole problem here. They navigate in very manipulative ways, testing someone, giving them their absolute worst side, sort of making you feel jealous. Like, are you going to fight for my attention? Are you going to fight to show me that you care about me? Yeah, they've had this realization about it, okay? So they've been doing some work. They're overwhelmed. They're seeing, maybe they felt like you were responsible for everything. And so now they're sort of taking responsibility for their part at least. I will say, self-concept has a huge effect on connections too. So I don't think it was all your fault. But if you think that everything was just one person's fault, then there's a heavy blind spot that you're not seeing, okay? Not that you would deserve any mistreatment that someone put you through, any cheating, anything like that. You don't deserve verbal abuse, physical abuse, anything like that. Never your fault. It's almost like what do we tolerate? What do we compromise on? And why do we make ourselves smaller so that other people can feel that big? Like that kind of accountability, right? What's our self-concept? Why do we think that we deserve to be with people like that? Why that sort of energy, which I feel like whoever I'm talking to, you've already had this realization about self-concept. If you're manifesting and you're trying to manifest, self-concept is super important because that's your relationship with yourself, okay? That's your relationship with yourself, and that's something that is vital for you manifesting better in the future, is knowing what you deserve, knowing who you are, and how you expect the world to behave around you. If this is not a specific person, then I just feel like coming up, you have an opportunity for you to build something stable with someone, and you are going to have a very difficult conversation about, look, here is what I've been through. These are the things that I'm working through, and it's not your fault that I've been through this, but certain things, certain behaviors do trigger me. You're not responsible for my triggers, but if we are going to make something work long term, then we both are going to be very aware of each other's triggers, and we want to talk about these hard things. We want to work through them together, okay? Whoever you're trying to build long term with that's coming up has an aware understanding of this concept as well. I messed up those cards that were just there, but yeah, the past and your hardships and being put in, multiple party situations before and feeling like you had to put in all the effort to show that you were worthy of love, that is changing, right? That's changing with you advocating for yourself, with you being honest about what's going on with you, and not in a way that says you make me feel a certain way, in a way that says I feel a certain way because of what I've been through, and these things are sensitive to me, or these situations are sensitive to me, and if I want you to share what you're sensitive about too, so that we can be honoring of that with each other and build something that we can trust each other through, okay? Yeah, so just figure out where you fit. How do you feel about this situation? How is Darling going to feel about this situation coming up? Death, like things are changing, okay? This is you never going back to the way things were, okay? You're like, I can trust now that I can grieve my past. I can grieve my past relationships. I can let bygones be bygones, and I can move forward knowing that I'm a new being. I've learned what I needed to learn. I'm more spiritually aware. I'm more in tune with myself. I'm more in tune with my heart. I'm not going to betray myself in any way that makes me stoop to smaller than I am. and I'm not going to experience that again. Right? That's good energy. It's heavy though, okay? It is heavy. How are others feeling about this situation for darling? Maybe the other person involved with this specifically. Knight of Pentacles, like they're going to do whatever it takes to show consistency and reliability. They're just like, we really need to be upfront with not just rushing into things, because rushing into something fast is just a temporary band-aid that doesn't last long. And honestly, like if two people have been hurt and been through really hard situations, just rushing into a full-blown, just rushing in to something feels more unstable after, the adrenaline has calmed down, right? It can cause more stress. So this person is really dedicated on taking it day by day, showing up day by day, consistent, right? They want to really talk about long-term stuff. They want to really plan. They want to be very meticulous, okay? And they are hoping that you're up for that too. It's like, it's one thing to just say, oh, my plan is to just get married and have kids and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's just a generalized plan. But then it's like, okay, well, do you want to buy a house first? Where are you wanting to live? Where do you see yourself long term? What is your day-to-day habits like? We need to live with each other at some point, and we need to really figure out, okay, how do you handle day-to-day stuff? What is your habits and routine like? What does consistency and stability look like for you? It's a very practical energy. This person is willing to take their time to figure out the long-term game here, the long game here, right? Yeah. Okay, what is darling's greatest hopes about this situation? I'm gonna have to grab another candle in a second. The Wheel of Fortune. You're just like, okay, that everything was for a reason, okay? Everything was for a reason. Everything's gonna happen at the perfect timing. I'm gonna know as soon as this, manifestation, this person comes in, I'm gonna know without a doubt that like karma is going in my favor, that things are changing for the better, that it's meant to be. I'm going to have a knowing that it's meant to be, and I'm not going to be guarded about it, right? I feel like you're also your hopes are that it'll be so obvious that you won't even have to have defenses up, right? Like, there's going to be no way to really be guarded about it, right? That's what you're hoping anyways. You're like, it'll drop my guard for me. Okay, what's darling's greatest fears about this situation? Nine of Pentacles, Six of Swords. For greatest fears, I feel like honestly your greatest fear is that you're like, what if my standards are so high now that no one can meet them? What if I'm so good on my own now? I so enjoy my own company and I so enjoy my own pleasures and I've worked so hard on myself. What if no one can really meet up to my standards? Yeah. What if I had to go it alone? But what's weird about that fear is that it doesn't really feel like a fear. It's just kind of like, I'd like to settle down with someone. 33 on the clock. I'd like to. But what if I just don't like anyone as much as I like myself? I really like that energy, okay? And what's the outcome here? What's the potential outcome of this situation? Six of Pentacles. Yeah, a time to give rather than take. What you invest is what you get back, okay? This doesn't mean that you have to hand out, opportunities up front. Be moderate about it with temperance. Yeah, Sagittarius energy, but, it's also not just what you tangibly give in a situation. It absolutely can be because it's Pentacles and that's the 3D, but it's also energetically. So what you spend more time focusing on, like I said, if you spend your time focusing on nitpicking someone or like really deciphering, okay, is that one little quirk? Is that like, I don't know that I can handle that forever. The more you focus on the negative, the more that's what you're going to get back. Okay. So this is saying being balanced about what you're investing your time, your energy, and your efforts in, okay? How much you're giving. Be moderate. Make sure that you are receiving the same amount of energy and effort back, Yeah, without being too critical. The moon also just came out, so I feel like that is, again, emphasizing being open about your past wounds, about where you've been hurt, about any insecurities that you have, any fears that you have. That is a great place to start opening up with, right? You don't have to appear like you have it all handled. You can still be an empowered person and share your struggles, share your insecurities, so that, again, with someone who's in a Knight of Pentacles energy, who's going to take it day by day to prove that they're not just some, in and out flighty, Russian, make things move fast type person, then they're going to get to know that part of you anyway, So, yeah. Don't let your fears be the only blockage for this situation. Is there any other card here for the outcome? Page of Pentacles, Queen of Swords. Again, this is just saying, don't let your fears make you so guarded that you basically isolate yourself from other people with the Five of Pentacles on bottom, right? Yeah. If you're moderate, then you're not going to repeat the cycle anymore. If you're moderate, you're open, you're vulnerable, you're open, then you're going to be leading your life down a path where you do have community. You do have someone here with you who stays the long haul, okay? It's up to you though, right? Your boundaries for yourself, your boundaries are for yourself first. So, yeah. Okay. Spirit, do you have any parting words of any parting messages here for my darling in this situation, okay? I need a drink. I really need a drink. A non-alcoholic drink. My Topo Chico is flirting with me on the corner of my table right there. Hey, baby. Okay. Parting messages for my darling in this situation. Seven of Cups as a parting message would just be like, okay, Page of Cups and the Nine of Swords reversed. Okay, all right, let's access it. Seven of Cups, Page of Cups reversed, Nine of Swords reversed, Four of Pentacles, Four of Cups reversed, Temperance, Seven of Wands, Death, Six of Cups on bottom. Okay. I'm trying to get the whole message. Just give me a second. Okay, Spirit's saying that being aware of where your own energy can leave you feeling confused or clouded about what's going on around you is really important right now, because there could be parts of our emotions where we've been hurt, okay, that is still hanging on to that situation and projecting it forward, okay? Spirit wants you to be willing to face any moments where you are feeling emotionally confused and recognize if that's actually being caused by whoever you're dealing with now, or if that is a trauma response from being intimate with a new person after experiencing what you've been through. I'm hearing a phrase right now which is really interesting because I've never heard this before, and I don't even know if anyone else has said this, but essentially I'm being drawn to like seeing a wall, okay? We've built a wall. And Spirit saying, look, the shadow that your wall is casting lights here. The shadow that your wall is casting, this shadow is the only thing that is sparing the dawn. Okay? So if we take down this wall, then what are we seeing? The light. Okay? So this shadow that's being cast by this wall, this emotional wall, is the only thing sparing the light, sparing the dawn. This is very interesting. So there's an opportunity here for things to get lighter and brighter, for things to be seen differently, for, flowers to grow, but everything that's trying to be grown in this shadow is not getting the light that it needs. And that's because of this wall that's been built, okay? So Spirit is saying, recognize, is this person that you're dealing with actually confusing, or are your emotions and your walls confusing you because of what you've experienced before? And the only way you can know that, the only way you can decipher the two, is to have a conversation about it, okay? This is almost like anytime we've been confused by other partners after this main situation happened, anytime we've been confused by other people, we've then just not talked about it. We've just shut down and just tried to it'll just pass on its own. It'll just pass on its own if I ignore it, right? With that Page of Cups reversed and Nine of Swords reversed, right? I'm anxious and I'm worried about it because I'm confused. I don't know what the hell's happening. But if I just ignore it, if we don't talk about it, then it'll get better. But then that leaves you holding your energy back with the Four of Pentacles, right? And then you stew in this unwanted, desired situation longer. And you think that it's you being persevering in that moment, but really it's you holding on to a wall that you've built. And then the ending of a situation happens again with the Death card, right? And you're like, why is this happening? Spirit saying, when you're feeling this triggering, don't keep it to yourself. Open up. Open up and talk about it. Not in an accusatory way, right? We're not saying that whoever's caught, whatever you're dealing with that is then making you feel confused and making you feel anxious, we're not saying that it's that person's fault. We're saying, I have a wound in me that was caused by someone else that I've then perpetuated a story and an identity within myself. And so I need to talk about this so that I can figure out, okay, is this person I'm dealing with now actually incompatible for me long term? Or is this something that I need to be vulnerable with, and then work through, break down that wall and allow the light to shine and then see what happens, right? You want to heal this moment, you want to heal this pattern, then don't keep it to yourself, okay? Don't keep it to yourself, okay? Yeah, you're healing past life wounding here, okay? Soulmate wounding, Six of Cups and the Four of Swords. If you want something different, you have to do something different. Judgment and the Hanged Man. You will find yourself, as you talk about these boundaries, as you talk about these situations that hurt you, there's the sword from the beginning. As you open up and you experience this level of intimacy with someone that exposes your fears and get to the bottom of it, then you are opening up a pathway, right? Instead of just deciding, oh, I'm confused, I'm overwhelmed, I'm feeling triggered, now this must be ending, this must be over, this is not the person. You're deciding one path, right? You're keeping it to yourself. As we open up, then we're building another path. There's more options here, right? So it's just emphasizing, talking about these moments with this person is important. Okay? If this person's not up for it, then they'll say that they're not up for it. And then you know the answer. And it's not you just drawing conclusions in your mind, which is then manifesting an undesirable outcome with this person or the situation. Right? See how if you keep it all in your head, you're the only one manifesting it because it's festering and it's growing. And then you're feeling it and you're seeing more reasons to believe it. Confirmation bias energy. You want something different, do something different. When you're feeling triggered, because you will feel triggered. You will have moments where you're like, okay, I thought this was for sure, but now I'm unsure. Now I'm not sure. Now I'm worried. You're going to have that no matter what, even with your lifelong partner. You're going to have those moments. So talk about it, not in an accusatory way, and figure out, okay, can I work with this person to help bring some peace to these fears, to these old wounds? In a lifelong partnership, we're going to do that anyways. I'm going to feel comfortable and safe enough with someone to talk about these things. So showing up as the person who has the connection that you desire, do that, okay? Be secure enough in yourself to talk about when you're having hard moments. Okay, repeating myself repeatedly. So I'm going to leave that there. Let's get No. Actually, angel answers? Okay. If you'd like to ask a question, go right ahead, but you don't have to, okay? I'm going to interpret these 44 on the clock. I'm going to interpret these in my own intuitive way as well, so if these answers don't feel like they fit for your question or your situation, ignore them, okay? You and your intuition, you know what works best for you. If you don't like it, revise it, okay? I'm not going to take it personal. Don't get all uppity about it. It's just a collective card reading. Okay, Spirit, will you... I'm getting answers already. Okay. Hold on, Spirit. How are these backwards? What just happened? Okay. Spirit, will you please answer the question that my darling has asked? Or just give me the words, the messages associated with the cards that you give me that they need to hear at this time. Okay. Let go. Oh, let go. Yeah. Recovery. Improving health. Look for a sign. No. Okay, so Spirit specifically is talking to someone who is trying to look for signs that their manifestation is coming. Okay, if you are actively looking for signs that your manifestation is coming, that this person is coming, that whatever is coming, if you're looking out here for signs that it's actually happening, then you don't believe that it's actually happening. And then what's going to manifest is that it doesn't happen. Okay, the whole thing about signs is that the sign does not come first. The sign only happens because creation is already finished whenever you are in a state of believing that your manifestation is undeniably yours. That it's your reality, it's who you are. You identify that, yeah, the situation will improve. So just don't be looking for signs, just have a knowing. Whatever I'm going through, it's going to improve because I've already seen it. I've already said it. I've already intended it. I've already decided it. Okay? Let go and then let things improve. Let the recovery happen. If you are manifesting and then you're just like, oh, I'm anxiously looking around. When is it going to happen? I'm looking for all these signs. Is this angel number that I'm seeing? Is that proof that this person is coming or this situation is coming? No, you're stressing yourself out. That's perpetuating a disbelief in your manifestation. Okay, which then will just bring essentially a temporary manifestation because you don't truly believe it, right? So you got to work on your belief, right? That you deserve what you are wanting in your life. The desire for your desire is proof that, your godness already wants that. It's already done. It's already created it, right? So if you remember that out here does not happen first. Out here doesn't happen first. Your awareness of what you see out here is your connection to God, to the divine, to the universe, right? So if you remember that everything is then being projected down and out, and you stop identifying as out here and you remember that what you're seeing is your God observingness, then you'll have a little bit more peace about things changing out here. The way it materializes. It's got to happen up there first. And once you know that, then it's just like, cool, it's going to happen when it happens. All right. Yeah, I'm going to leave that there. I hope that this reading resonated and was helpful for you. I feel like it was a lot, but it's exciting. I feel like it's a big shift. I feel like some important information got across here. So just be honest with yourself, be honest with others, communicate your needs clearly, with love, with belief that you get what you desire, that you deserve what you desire, okay? It's gonna work out. Tomorrow is Taco Tuesday. We're gonna see who is talking about you. Or maybe, we'll see if I do who's talking about you, or if I do I might do an affirmation reading, where I do a reading of all the affirmations that Spirit really wants you, or that the energy is calling you to be speaking over your life. That kind of seems like an interesting reading. I might do that. So I hope to see you then, but if not, that's cool too. I hope that you have a great rest of your day, a wonderful week, or a fantastic life. I love you so much. Take care, and ta-da!